I'm Leila Hormozi, CEO and founder of Acquisition.com, and this is a week in my life of building $1 billion company. There's never been a time where I've had a business that hasn't had a million problems, and I've still had to drive forward the whole freaking thing anyways. In this vlog, to take you guys really behind the scenes of a week in my life, I'm gonna introduce what my team has called the Leila Cam. I just woke up, so it is 4 a.m. Very pretty, and my alarm is set for like 5. If I get up now, I can work out and get some other stuff done. So I'm gonna go get some coffee, and then I'm gonna go down to the treadmill. Just got back from walking. Today I have a lot. I have meetings for like 5 hours, and then I have, I think, like an hour break, and then I have a cocktail mixer for one of our workshops. So I'm trying to go a little bit slower this morning. I did wake up and spend like 30 minutes with Alex. And again, guys, like I actually normally have a 10-minute makeup routine, but on the days where, you know, we have an event and everyone's like dressed up, my whole team, like I'm not gonna like show up looking worse than my whole team, like set an example. So we're at the stage right now looking like a naked mole rat. I've also started to give less of a fuck. That's just like not the most important thing to me, and I don't want it to be something I fixate on all the time. I'm busy and I care more about my team and doing right by them and being a good wife to my husband and a good friend to my friends and keeping close with my family than I do like, did you do your eyeshadow perfectly today? Like what I actually love doing is like building a company and a team. After I got ready, I hopped on a Zoom call for a full team meeting. I wanted to get us a little bit of energy up in here. We're gonna jump up and down for just 10 seconds, okay? So bear with me, I'm a bad jumper. Come on, guys. Wow, I got more than a few jumps up in there. I saw some people really breaking it down, damn. We've added 17 people this last quarter. For people to step into positions and accidentally not loop the right people in, that's really typical. As we add more people, communication gets harder as a company because it's just like, you know, if you have a friend group of 3 people and then all of a sudden you have 15 friends, there's banana phone, oh, he said, she said, all this stuff. That happens in companies, and that's why it's important that we try and dial these things in while we're small. Communication, it's never gonna be better than it was now. It's only gonna get harder from here. I didn't bring anything to my team thinking like, oh, I want you guys to do something about this. I brought this up to my team because I want them to understand that this is normal. I have had 3 companies in the past that all grew very quickly. And so I know what it feels like, and I know what's not good and what's good. It's not things that aren't fixable, it's just things that we want to pay attention to. And so I think it's kind of like when a kid falls down on the dirt and they get hurt and they start crying, and then their parent says like, oh my God, are you okay? This is so awful, it's so horrible, like let's take you to the hospital. Versus the kid who falls on the ground, they get a cut, and their parent says like, oh, did that hurt? And they're like, yeah, it hurt. And they're like, that's okay that it hurt. Let's get back up, let's put a Band-Aid on, let's go back to school. I look at myself as the parent in those situations to tell you, is this pain okay or not? And in that situation, the situation that my team kept coming to me and saying like communication's getting rough, I'm like, well, when you double the size of a team, that is what happens. So just finished meetings. So I keep shoes in my office so I can just take off. I had giant boots on, and I am just trying to get a walk in about an hour. I have to go down and see guests that we have here for an event. Here we go.
I do have a question. So,
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how to hire, or like I just feel like I can take it on myself, and I just don't want to, I guess, relinquish the control. Like I just need help.
You are at a point in your business where I think an EA is absolutely a necessary hire. You need people to support you. You need someone who's been an EA to a CEO. When I hired Yasmin, I said, listen, I have no fucking clue what I'm doing, and I don't know what you're supposed to do. And she goes, I will figure it out, and I will teach you what I do. And I was like, okay. So I was just honest about it.
Honestly, you've made such an impact in my business, and sometimes, like, you know, running a business is like, I don't even know what I'm doing. And how real you are about like, hey, I felt that, I did that, just helps me know that like, okay, I can get there. I'm just gonna learn that skill. I don't have the skill.
Thank you for saying that.
I swear, it means so much.
I still feel all of that, so. I mean, I think I feel grateful that people can get something from the content that I didn't get from anybody, but I don't feel like it elates my sense of self in any way. I think that a lot of people let things get to their head, and then it removes the very thing that made something successful. You know, just let it get to my head like, oh my God, I'm doing all this good for all these people. They're watching all my content. I'm so good at this. Like, I don't really see how that ever benefits me. And I think what I say a lot of times, like, I really appreciate you being so supportive and like taking the time to watch my content, because that's genuinely how I feel.
I will say, when you're a woman, there's nothing more satisfying than taking off your makeup at the end of a day and taking off your bra. It's like, I like to tell Alex, like, imagine if your junk was just confined all day, just propping that shit up. Wouldn't you want to get in your pajamas? I am delirious.
I've just gotten better at being really tired, being frustrated, being angry, and being able to put on a different hat. I don't think that there's ever been moments where I'm not transparent about how I feel. I try to just be honest, be like, oh, I'm tired, honestly. I think that you can acknowledge how you feel and still act in accordance with your values. So I can say I'm tired, I'm having a bad day, I'm frustrated. That doesn't mean I need to cancel something, move something, or do something differently than the plan I had set out to do. For a lot of people, if they're not transparent with their teams and they don't share stuff in general, then when you say, hey, I can't share this, it's like, yeah, well, you don't share anything. It just feels like more hiding. Whereas for me, it's like, there is so much that I share that I don't need to, that I think they're like, okay, if she's not sharing something, I believe her that it's for the best. I get that not everybody wants to do what I do, and that sounds really unappealing to people. Like, I see people like, that's so sad that you're so busy that you don't get to enjoy a workout. I'm like, I do enjoy my workout and work at the same time. I do everything else around this one goal, and it's not for everybody, and I'm well aware of that. I take calls on the treadmill all the time. I don't take calls while I lift, but I absolutely work on my phone while I lift. It's not for everybody, and I think I just recognized a long time ago that I'm not for everybody. How I live my life isn't for everybody, but it works for me. You gotta do what works for you and what you wanna do, and say, fuck what anybody thinks, fuck what anybody wanted to judge me for, let me be misunderstood, let people judge me. I'm gonna do myself. People are like, how are you really? How are you real? Are you happy? Yes, what the fuck? Like, I'm like, I wouldn't be showing you my life if I wasn't, that's for fucking sure. It's like somebody's judgment of my life absolutely changes nothing about it. I'm not optimizing to be like the fittest woman at all. If I have a giant meeting I'm gonna run and I'm supposed to do deadlifts, I'm not gonna do deadlifts because I care more about what my performance is like at work. So, you know, today is the only day during the week that I lift right now because I just see that it impacts me at work and it's not worth it to me. If you judge me for living according to my values that I have chosen, I respect that. I don't hope and expect people to like or perceive me in the way that I would love people to. The reason that criticism or hate is hard to accept is because we have these unrealistic expectations of the world, others, and ourselves that nobody can live up to. And if I put myself on the internet, then people can say whatever the fuck they want. There's no rules that govern what people can or can't say about me. And so I think I just recognize that if you want the good that comes with putting yourself out there, you also have to accept the bad. And you can't try and just suppress the bad. You just have to truly let it be. And I can truly say at this point that I am unbothered. I mean, one reason I love being transparent is because like, there's no shame in so many of the things of my life. When I talk about getting arrested, being overweight, all the mistakes I've made in my companies, shame only exists in the dark. The number one way to not fear judgment of others, to live your life in a way that makes you proud of yourself. And if somebody casts judgment upon that, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter because it's like, I'm still proud of who I am. Because dude, there's like a few days where I'm just like, oh, I don't care what I look like. And then I see the comments, I'm like, Jesus, fuck, I know. Like I crimped my hair and it looked way too, and I was like, fuck, I crimped it horizontally, not vertically. One of the days that I am doing my own hair and makeup. Ooh. And like, you know when you're just like, I don't care, I need to get this video done. I was like, it's more important. And then I was just like, what the fuck, people are so mean. I'm like, I never claimed to be the best looking anything, okay? That's not the point of this channel. Welcome to our first hair and makeup one-on-one. People are making mistakes. Is there that one thing that if they do this, it covers for 80% of the thing that's going wrong? I think a lot of times when a mistake is made, all you need to do is talk about what to do next time. So rather than like dwelling on the mistake, it's just like, hey, I want you to know, like I would prefer you do it this way in the future. That gets people thinking about a solution rather than the problem. At the end of the day, it's like, think about how many mistakes I make and have made. I mean, they're in half my YouTube videos. How would I expect that others don't make the same mistakes, if not more? What is that?
It's lip conditioner.
This is lip conditioner, Frank, if you want.
I need my whole body.
For your next date, you can.
Thank you so much. Oh, I love it. Thank you, guys.
Please welcome Leila Hormozi.
All questions are fair game, unless it's weird. Right here.
I noticed you have 3 like uniquely specific core values, but the most impressive part is it is clear it emanates throughout your team. How did you get that to like resonate with everyone who works here?
The first is anchoring to the goal of what kind of company you want to become. The vision for acquisition.com and what we wanted to make it, that is what we had to get really clear on first. And then the next thing that I asked myself was, what kind of person do I have to become? And what kind of people do I need to realize that vision? And so then when it came down to the values, we really went through what do we admire about people that we look up to, and how do we distill that down into only 3? And then thinking to myself, if I only applied these 3 filters to hiring people, would I hire the right people? And then we deployed it, which is like we hired our first few people using that rubric. And I was like, I think this actually works. I try to attract people into our company who are obsessed with improving themselves and growth and want to grow. For me, like excellence looks like first me demonstrating it by putting discretionary effort into my teammates, showing them that I will go above and beyond for them in little ways. Maybe it's sending them a message that I didn't need to send. Maybe it's acknowledging something they didn't know I heard about. I think it just shows that you pay more attention than people think. And I think that's where a lot of excellence comes from. It's like, it's in the details. It's the people who, when nobody's looking, refill the coffee machine, clean out the bathroom sink when they're a C-level executive. I mean, it's just like putting in the extra that many won't put in. It's 5:45. I had my day, worked, had meetings, and now I'm walking for a moment to decompress. I think I'm gonna go home because tomorrow I have to lead our executive quarterly. And then we also have a media meeting because media is so different. It has like a completely different set of goals and everything than the company. Last quarter, I only had 1 for all of it. And so this one we have 3. I'm gonna teach everybody what to do. My goal is to run only the strategic because obviously as the CEO, like I'm never gonna give that up. The other 2, I don't think I need to lead. Like my job is to tell people what the biggest problem is because I have the most visibility of the whole company. And so in my opinion, the best use of like my attention is determining what are the biggest problems for us to focus on. And I really feel like I know how to build and destroy my own company. Like I feel pretty confident I could do either one of those things. I don't expect everyone to have that same level of visibility or intuition that I have. So anyways, I'm gonna go home while Alex stays here. And then I'm gonna take off my face. I really gotta learn how to hold a phone. And I took off my eyelashes. It's so frightening. And I wanted to try and make this recipe that I saw online. I've started baking more lately. I don't know why. I think it's like the more stressed I am, the more often I want to bake in my free time. And I'm not even like stressed in a, oh, I'm stressed out, but like generic, like system stress. And so I don't know, baking to me is like kind of therapeutic in a weird way. Also, I just used to cook all the time. I used to cook dinner every night for me and Alex when we were first married because I like thought I needed to do that to be like a good wife. So as you can see, guys, my life is not that glamorous. I am a human, just like everybody else. When I'm not working, I do stuff just like everybody else. And I'm really tired, so this is my evening right now. All the things that have happened that are reasons the business isn't growing happen in every freaking business. Like there's never been a time where I've had a business that hasn't had a million problems and I've still had to drive forward the whole freaking thing anyways, right? And I think you guys all see that here. It's like we have a million problems, but it's like you still have to grow the business amidst all those problems. For a period of time, put like all your discretionary effort into the business, you're not gonna be able to fix problems and grow it. You're gonna be able to do one or the other, in my opinion, which you can't grow it unless you fix the problems. If we look at our founders that are incredibly successful, they do that. Yeah, I think the more skilled you are as a leader, the more that you fluctuate your communication style based on the person in front of you. I kind of need to be a chameleon and speak in a way that is received by the group or person in front of me. It's almost like speaking somebody's language. If I'm talking to the portfolio team, like I wouldn't even use some of the terminology I use to the media team. You communicate differently to the teams based on, I just say it's like meeting people where they're at. And I think the best leaders acclimate themselves to the room they walk into rather than making the rooms acclimate to them. The hardest part I think that I have is there's always ideas of what I can be doing to get different, better, new content. Then I have what is on my calendar, which is like full days every day, because honestly, like I can only do so many new things at once. Even just like the new video cadence that we have right now, these last 2 weeks, I have felt like shit because I've been so focused on the quarterlies. We've had event, quarterly, just trying to catch the fuck up, and then quarterly, even just trying to keep on something new from only a month ago. I'm still trying to execute on that. It's not easy for me to be transparent, especially on days when I don't want to be. It takes extra effort from me to vocalize to my team things. I think if you can be transparent with your team, then they feel safe with you. And I think it's really easy to create feelings of anxiety and stress, even if you do it accidentally. You know, it doesn't even need to be like yelling at people. It can just be ignoring people, not communicating, not talking, not telling them how you're feeling. I think all those things can create stress in a team, anxiety and fear. And so for me, the more transparent I can be, the more people feel safe here. I think that when people feel safe, they do their best work because they're not in fear. They like their jobs more, they like their teammates more, they want to be at work more, and they get to actually grow. You know, I think about the best bosses I've ever had, and they were just completely open with me. I saw their good and bad days, they weren't perfect, and I admired that a lot. At the end of the day, I'd like to be that for the people on this team so that they can go on to do that in whatever they do here or elsewhere. I am somebody's boss. I create other people who are other people's bosses, and I have influence over people who watch me who are bosses to many others. Leave people better than you found them.